All these experiences put together leads to what we called learned helplessness. It's a situation where someone accepts a negative experience as normal, even when he can escape it. See, I have seen men and women alike go through abuse in their homes, but stay in the same relationship. When you ask them, they often make excuses and say something like, well, no one is perfect. Let me just manage him. You know, it will seem funny to you, but it's not to them. When you trace it back to their childhood, you will find out either their parents or their guardian, their mothers, they were abused at school, at home. So they've normalized that. They grew up seeing it. Someone said to me some time ago, it's normal for a man to beat a woman. You know, they do it to correct us. I nearly punched her. The only thing was that she was a lady, so I didn't. That's learned helplessness as a result of past experiences. Now, the other extreme is learned optimism. Have you seen this kind of people? Life has been so good to them. They have recorded so many victories from childhood and often throws caution to the wind when embarking on new projects. If you ask them, guy, which data, which research are you basing your decision on to launch into this project? He said, no, don't worry. Coach, you just don't worry. Just work out. It will work out. It will work out. You just don't worry. You see, whichever side of the divide you're on, whether you're on the negative extreme or you're on the positive extreme or somewhere around the middle of that spectrum, your life experiences have all been stored in your subconscious mind. Every major thing that you've experienced in life, every major event that you've had that impacted you emotionally have all been stored in your subconscious mind, whether you consciously remember it or not. It's that part of your mind that automates your behavior. See, you remember the first time that you touched a naked wire, electric naked wire, right? It sent a shock into your body. That happened to my son a few weeks back. See, that experience was recorded by your brain and then into your subconscious mind as a negative experience. Well, the next time your hand moves towards any naked wire, whether it's connected to a source or not, it doesn't matter. Your subconscious mind will trigger your brain to ask you, remember that last week we were shocked by a naked wire? Are you sure you want to touch this wire, Olga? Immediately you withdraw your hand. Now, that's automation of behavior. Remember, there was a time you were learning how to walk, right, as a child. Sometimes you stood up, put out one leg, and then you fell. But you continued, and today you can walk. How did you move from wobbling on the ground to walking without support today? In fact, you don't need to think about it. You just stand up and you start walking. That's because all the processes you took in learning how to walk has been stored in a file inside your subconscious mind. Today, once you want to get up, your brain recalls that file of walking and you go through the process seamlessly without consciously thinking about it. That's automation of behavior, and that's the work of your subconscious. You see, your subconscious, therefore, is your automation warehouse. It stores all your beliefs in life. Christian, Muslim, atheist, you believe that birds don't fly. Even when they show you birds that are flying, you say, no. These are not real birds. These are science. Or whatever reason you give it. Genetically engineered birds. Natural birds don't fly. And you truly believe it. Others will find it absurd, even funny. Your subconscious stores all your perspectives in life, the way you see things, your expectations, your fears. Now, of these experiences, your beliefs, your expectations, your fears, they all come together, right? To determine how you think, how you react, and how you behave. Think about that. It stores all your perspectives in life, the way you see things, your expectations, your fears. It determines the actions that you take and how you perceive life in general. Because your subconscious goes to the reservoir of those experiences that you've had and programs your mind, your action, your responses. The major thing is your responses to those events when they happen. It becomes automatic because it's been stored in your mind. And your result will come from your response. Someone that is disrespectful to people, right? And it has become an automatic response. Doesn't matter where it comes from. When anybody enters that is new and he doesn't know, he responds in a negative way. That negative response will cause a negative result for the person. That's what we're saying. The response brings the result. And the response is an automated system from the experiences you've had. What we are saying in summary is that your subconscious, to a very large extent, controls your result. It does. I'll allow that to sink for a moment. Well, you might say, no, I don't believe it. How can you even say that? Well, that you don't believe something does not still change the fact that that thing is true, if it is. You know, I'm a first degree student of physics. And during my first year in school, I traveled to my village during the holidays. I was talking to one of my uncle, my elderly uncle, in my enthusiasm to show my knowledge of physics. I said, Uncle, do you know that right here where we are right now, there are radio waves, there are waves all around us, even though you can't visibly see them? This man argued with me. He said, with his great of wisdom, he said, no, I don't know whether he was trying to test me, but he said, it's impossible. Anything I cannot see with my eyes, I can't believe it. Well, instead of arguing, I just brought out a transistor radio, tuned it to the city station, and the sound was clear. I said to him, Uncle, there is your evidence. The radio can only work with radio waves around us. At that point, he just shut his mouth. Now, I say that to say this. The fact that you don't believe something does not mean it's not true. That's the point I'm driving at. Why do you think many people tend to repeat the lives of their parents? Have you observed that? I did, and I was nearly ruined for it. That's because all the things you saw growing up at home have been stored in your subconscious mind. Your subconscious works like an autopilot because it uses those experiences that are stored to regulate your behavior, your responses, and ultimately your results. It does not have any sense of right or wrong. All it does, it can't judge between right and whether something is right or wrong. No, that's not what it does. It just uses the images and the files stored in your memory since childhood to regulate your behavior, your responses, and ultimately your results, making it consistent with those experiences that you've had in the past. Now, this is what I mean. I'll give you an example. As a kid, I saw my parents quarrel a lot. Arguments between my mom and dad were a constant thing, and sometimes they will fight. It was a constant occurrence, and it bothered me a lot. Finally, I said to myself one day, I will never get married. True story. And even if I do, I will never argue with my wife. I don't want to have this kind of marriage you guys are having. Well, many years later, I got married to the love of my life, of course. And we had a fantastic marriage. Till today, we have never argued at all, right? Wrong. Wrong. See, arguments nearly destroyed my marriage for the first 5 years. I quarreled over nothing. I was concerned over many things, right? Looking back, I wonder why I was concerned whether the curtain blinds were open or closed, because it really didn't matter. But I remember that was the same things that my mother was using as a point to quarrel with my dad, and the continuous back and forth that were going on. You see, my subconscious mind stored all those experiences and programmed my response to many things to be consistent with the experiences I had as a child. That response recreated that same experience I had growing up in my marriage. I was only able to solve it at the nick of time because I got help. And I became emotionally aware of what I was doing that was destroying my marriage. I was lucky. Many are not. They just go headlong repeating the lives of their parents. If you search deep down now, there will be traces of what was happening at home in what you're doing right now. If you search deep down. So what are we saying? If your subconscious controls your behavior, don't we have a say in directing our lives? Are we helpless? Are we helpless about the matter? No, we are not. The good news is that you can rewrite your own story. You can, just the way I did. How will you do that? Recall that the experiences you've had, that your subconscious is using right now to program your behavior, are majorly two things. Two. The pictures that you saw and the words that were spoken to you. Two things. Whether you had a traumatic experience, a bad time at home, or a torrid time in school, there are majorly two things. Pictures and words that were spoken to you. When I remember the arguments in my house, I can see them clearly in my mind's eye. I can see my mom shouting at my dad and the back and forth that went on. I can take you to the exact spot where my worst experience happened in that house, right in my living room. So if you want to change that programming, you have to use pictures and words also. Start feeding pictures to your subconscious mind through meditation. Now, when I say meditation, I'm aware that it can mean different things to different people. Here's what I mean. See yourself as though you have already achieved all the goals that you're setting for yourself right now. Find a quiet place at a quiet time. For me, it's early in the morning when everybody is still asleep. Find that quiet place. For you, it might be different. That quiet time. Then envision this in your mind's eye. See yourself sitting at that seat of the chief executive position that you're going for right now. See yourself sitting on that seat. Envision the office. See the decorations. Imagine your PA coming into the office to update you on upcoming meetings and appointments. See yourself enjoying the proceeds of that office. Now, draw some emotions out of that thing that you're seeing on your mind. A smile, a sense of fulfillment. That's what I mean by meditation. When you start doing it at first, it will feel strange to you. That's normal. With every new thing that you do, that's because your subconscious mind cannot find any file, past experience to correlate what you're doing. You have not gone through that experience perhaps before, so it totally feels strange. That's normal. But as you continue, you will start feeling at home. You will start getting familiar with the process.